Okay, guys, welcome back. Today's session will be again. Yesterday, in yesterday's session, we talked about accuracy, precision, significant figures, and all right. I pretty much covered a lot of ideas, and I asked you to go through the NCRT textbooks. I hope you have gone through the NCRT textbooks and read all the significant figure rules and accuracy and precision. If there are any doubts regarding significant figures, please let me know. Even I even covered up rounding off also, right? I covered the rounding off part also. This was also covered, how to cover and all. Today's class will be about this. Now, the measurements part is separately covered in two separate videos, right? I already gave the screw gauge video. I will give the vernier calipers video today. Okay. So this measurements part will be two separate videos for screw gauge and vernier calipers. That's a different videos. Those things come in a different video. Today we are going to talk about errors and percentage changes. Percentage errors and percentage changes. This will be a small session only. I don't think it will take much time to discuss percentage changes and percentage errors. Okay. Once we've done this, we have covered a very tiny but important part in your physics class. Okay. So today we're talking about percentage changes or percentage errors. We are going to talk about both the ideas, percentage changes and percentage errors. Now, where do we start? What is a percentage change, first of all, or percentage error? Let us say. Let's talk about why did I write charge? This change, percentage change. So, what is a percentage change and what is a percentage error? Let's look at a very simple question first of all. Okay, take a rectangle which has a length and a breadth. The length reading was given as 5 meters, let's say. Breadth is given as 2 meters. And somebody said the length is increased by 1%, the breadth is also increased by, let's say, 2%. So it's slightly increased, slightly bigger now. The length is increased, the breadth is also increased by 1% and 2% individually. Now, how much of area is increased? A initial, let us say A final. What is the percentage change in the area? This is a kind of a question that you might be facing. Can somebody answer? Is there any way for you people to answer this thing? The length is increased and the breadth is increased. Can you answer how much is the area increased? Charan Sai already gave an answer, but let's look at the other answers again. Anyone else? Do you people know how to write the percentage changes? Nobody? Okay, let me discuss that. Okay. So guys, this is a little related to Sai Charan. I'm sorry, yeah. This is a little related to mathematics here. Okay. Basically, the area of a rectangle is written as length into breadth. The area of a rectangle is written as length into breadth. Okay. So whenever I have a percentage change in length and percentage change in B, also have a percentage change in area also. Whenever I change length and whenever I change breadth, I have a percentage change in area also. So how do I write this change in length and all? Let me look at it. Take the same example, 5 meters. This is 2 meters, and it is increased by 1% and 2%. Like if I have to write 1% increase, it is like 5 plus 0.005. That is a percentage. 1% means, I hope you know how to write percentages. Okay, if you don't know how to write the percentages, you're completely, I mean, like, you're not supposed to be in this class. And in 2 meters we talked about 2%, right? In 2 meters, the 2% is basically 2 meters plus 0.04. This is how much the length is increased, this is how much the breadth is increased. So how much is the area increased? That is the final question, area final. How are we going to find that? There are two ways to do it, like strictly multiplying the new values, like 5.05 into 2.04. You multiply this thing and finally get a very big answer, like 10. Previously the area is 10 units, right? 10 meter square. Now the area is 10 point something something something. So you can clearly see the amount that is increased and all. But Instead of doing all this mathematically, I mean, instead of doing all this calculation, we have a simplification here. I'll talk about the simplification. Watch. We have area equals to length into breadth, right? We have a way to put this in a different way. Like I'll apply logarithm on both the sides. Log A equals to log L into B. I shouldn't be putting brackets. I don't think this is a good idea to put brackets. Log L into B. I hope you know logarithms. Okay. So when I have this log A can be written as log L plus log B. You can do this. I hope you know this. Now I'm going to differentiate this whole thing. So I'm going to write dA by A equals to dL by L equals to dB by B. I hope you know this bit. dA by A. As I'm just differentiating log x differentiation. I hope you all remember log x differentiation is basically uh, 1 by x into dx. Or log x by dx is the differentiation of log x is can be written. I hope you all know this part. Okay. If you don't know this part, please raise your hand. I will try to explain this part. Okay, differentiation of log x can be written as 1 by x. This dx comes from this side basically. Okay. So I differentiated it. Here I'm going to convert this. This is the part where I'm going to make a small approximation. I'm going to write dA as delta A by A, delta L by L plus delta B by B. And I'm going to multiply this whole thing into 100 into 100 into 100. So this simply looks like the percentage change in A equals to the percentage change in length plus percentage change in breadth. That is what it is, right? Delta A is nothing but change. Delta A by A into 100 is nothing but percentage change in A. I hope you all know this thing. Similarly, delta L by L into 100 is nothing but percentage change in L. This thing is nothing but percentage change in B. So I already gave this as percentage change as 1%. This has 2%. So the total percentage change in area must be 3% approximately. This is just like an approximation. All right. So like let me give you another example. Okay, like let's take a random physical quantity called m equals to x square y cube z power 5. X square y cube z power 5. Okay, we can write this as log m. This equals to 2 log x plus 3 log y plus 5 log z. I hope you all know these operations with the logarithms. Okay, if you don't know these operations, please let me know right now only. Yes, you all know this thing. So I'm going to write it as delta m by m, 2 into delta x by x, 3 into delta y by y. I'm basically differentiating this thing. Plus 5 into delta z by z. What do we have here? We multiply with 100, multiply with 100, multiply with 100, multiply with 100. We are going to get percentage change in m equals to 2 into percentage change in x plus 3 into percentage change in y plus 5 into percentage change in z. You see this from this point to this point. Okay, so whenever I say percentage change, I also mean increase or decrease. It can be both. Okay, let me take this only as example. M equals to x square y cube z power 5. Let us say somebody gave a question saying x is increased by 1%, y is decreased by 2%, z is increased by 1% again. What is the percentage change in m? That is the question. So first of all, okay, percentage change in m equals to 2 into percentage change in x plus 3 into percentage change in y plus 5 into percentage change in z. 2 into this one is increased, so plus 1, 3 into this one is minus 2, 5 into plus 1 only. Let me write it properly. I made it a mess out of it. 2 into percentage in x plus 3 into percentage change in y plus 5 into percentage change in z. These two has increased 1%, 1%. So I'm going to write plus 1 here, plus 1 here. This has decreased, so minus 2. So from that I'll get a final value 2 plus 5, 7 minus 6, it's equals to basically 1. So there will be a percentage increment plus 1%, you can say simply. So M will increase by 1%. That is what you need to write. M will increase by 1%. Okay, there could be another question like, let me give you another question. Let us call capital L equals to A square B cube by C square. So here I have to write percentage change in L equals to Charan Sai, please, I repeat like 100 times. If you have a doubt, raise your hand. I'm not clearing doubts through text. Okay. These 1%, 2% will be given in the question only. This is a question only. Like, let's start with this question. Percentage L equals to 2 into percentage change in A plus 3 into percentage change in B minus 2 into percentage change in C. 2 into percentage in A plus 3 into percentage change in B minus 2 into, I hope you understand why there is a minus. Okay, because it is there in the denominator. Like when you write it like this, A cube plus B cube, C power minus 2, you have to write it like this. So that is why you'll get a minus. And somebody gives you a question saying A is increased, let us say A is decreased by 2%, B is decreased, somebody gave a question like this, 1%, C is increased. No, let me change this part. This is increased. C is also increased by 1%. All I have to do is put in the values. Percentage change in L equals to 2 into this plus 3 into this plus minus 2 into this. Let me put these values. Increased. So I put plus 1 here. This one is decreased, so minus 2. So what do you get the answer as? Can somebody tell? 3 minus 4 minus 2. 3 minus 4 minus 2 minus 6. So minus 3. You'll get a minus 3. So which you can simply say L has decreased. L has decreased by 3%. L has decreased by 3%. Okay. So that is how you write whenever you get percentage changes. Okay. Like let me give you a question, very simple question. Volume of a cube is given as A cube. Volume of a given as A cube. If only 5 is A is given, no, let me come back to this question later. Okay, we'll come back to this question easily, don't worry. So that is how you write the percentage increments. Okay, like this is a very simple idea. But just a small note here. The one that we are already using is an assumption. We are already making an assumption to make our calculations easy. To make our calculations easy, we already made an assumption here. Where is it? The assumption came here when I converted dA into delta A. I already made a small assumption. So I can't do that, but we did it just for our easier calculations. Okay. So please don't use it. Please don't use it when the percentage changes. When percentage changes are around 10% or anything like that. Okay, 10%, 8%, please don't use it. It's like 1% is fine, 5% is fine, 4% is fine. All these things are, yes, you can use. You can use for all these 1%, 5%, 4%. But for these 10% and all, please don't use this idea. Okay, like it's like you're making a bigger mistake. You're making a mistake anyway. And you're making an assumption or already making a mistake anyway. But here you're like making a very big mistake. So I suggest you not to do that. All right, people. So that is just a very important point that you need to remember. Now, once we are done with that percentage changes, we need to talk about percentage errors. We need to talk about percentage errors. Okay. Now, how do we talk about percentage errors? Now, let us talk about percentage errors in a similar manner, but there is a small difference compared to this. Let us take the same quantity, m equals to x square y cube by z square only, a similar quantity. But when it comes to percentage errors, there is no increment or decrement. There is no increment or decrement. Okay, they are both same here. It's like whenever you write a percentage error, it's you don't write it as 1% or 2%. Okay, you directly write, say a reading is length of a scale L equals to 5 centimeters plus or minus 2%. There is this plus or minus, you clearly observe. It can be more than that or it can be less than that. It's like it is varying in between these two values. So let's say somebody like what is the 2% in 5? It is 0.1, I guess. Yeah, it is 0.1. So it's like 5, it can be 5 plus 0.1 and it can be 5 minus 0.1. Okay, is it 0.1 first of all? 2% in, yeah, it is. So it can be both. It can be both plus or minus. Okay. So that is the idea of percentage changes. So whenever you write percentage changes, you need to mention about both the positive and the negative value. Okay. So when it comes to a percentage error, whenever you're writing an error, you don't consider all these signs anymore. All you have to do is simply add all these signs. Like when you write percentage error in M, you have to directly write 2 into percentage error in X plus 3 into percentage error in Y plus 2 into percentage error in Z only. This is a plus only, even though it is in the denominator. Even though it is in the denominator, I'll tell you the reason why. Okay, let me show you an example only. Okay, let me take this example only. Let me seriously take this example like just previous only, like m equals to x square y cube z square. Let us write percentage m equals to 2 into percentage x plus 3 into percentage y minus 2 into percentage z only. Minus 2 into percentage z only. Okay, let's write and minus only. Like, and the question, someone mentioned x has a percentage error plus or minus 1. Y and Z, all of them have percentage errors plus or minus 1, plus or minus 1. Somebody gave a question like that. All are plus or minus 1. You know what plus or minus 1 means? So I have to put 2 plus or minus 1 into 3 plus or minus 1 minus 2 into plus or minus 1. So whenever you have a plus or minus function, you have to do both. You have to do both the things. It's like I'm going to give you an example here. Okay, whenever you have to add uh, do you know how to add plus or minus 1 to plus or minus 3? Can somebody tell me how to add plus or minus 1 to plus or minus 3? Sharath.
So first we consider that all are positive and then we add them, and after that then we consider that all are negative and we
You
add them.
simply consider all the cases, like all the 4 cases, plus 1, sorry. Let's consider all the cases, okay? Uh, plus 1 plus 3, plus 1 minus 3, minus 1 plus 3, minus 1 minus 3. If you take all the cases, what is the most extreme? Plus 4. What is the most extreme? Minus 4. So that is why you directly write it as plus or minus 4. Sharath, you agree?
Yes, sir. So like we shouldn't be considering that +1 -3 and
Yeah,
-1
you
plus
even
3.
write -2, you even though you write +2, they're in between these two values anyway. So you're talking about the maximum possible error. So you agree that this is the maximum possible error.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, like while solving few questions, sometimes they give like plus or minus x and minus or plus y, sir. What does it mean?
It doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it shouldn't mean anything. Like if you strictly say that, it means when you take plus in one thing, you have to take minus in the other thing. There could be
Okay.
some calculations, but here it doesn't mean anything. Okay, whenever you see a problem like this, you simply add all the values, like irrespective of what are the signs there, you're going for the maximum error there, which is 2 3 2. So simply write plus or minus 7. That's all. That is error. Sharath, do you get it? Please raise your hand and speak. Sharath, are you gone? Yeah.
Understood, sir.
Yeah. So instead of irrespective of what is there, you simply add all the percentage errors. That's all.
So like
Okay.
here plus or minus 7 means the range, right, sir?
Yeah, it is a range. Like final reading of this can be maximum of +7 error or +7% error or maximum of -7% error.
Understood, sir.
Yeah. So let me give you another question. You try to find the answer. Okay. I'm going to give you a question saying volume of a cuboid. Volume of a cuboid L into B into H. The percentage error in L is 2%. In B it is 1%. In H it is 1%. What is the percentage error in volume? Anybody? Yeah, he already gave the answer. It is very simple. You simply have to add percentage error in V equals to percentage, percentage in L, percentage in B, percentage in H. So all you have to do is 2, 1, 1 is plus or minus 4%. Okay, it is as simple as this, plus or minus 4%. Okay, so they will give you even questions like this. Okay, like let's just follow this question. Volume of a body LBH. L is measured as 20 plus or minus 1% meters. Breadth as 10 plus or minus 2% meters. H is 5 plus or minus 3% meters. So when you want to find the volume, first of all, find the normal volume. How do you find the normal volume? Like multiply all these three things. 20 into 10 into 5. How much? 1000 into 5. 5000. The volume is 5000 directly. The error, you simply have to add 1 plus 2 plus 3, 6%. So this is how you write the volume. You get that, people? Guys, get it? Yeah. I hope it is clear for you people. So let me give you another question. Just for a confirmation, okay? A sheet we have length as 20 centimeters, breadth as 4 centimeters, length as 20 centimeters, breadth as 4 centimeters. Area equals to L into V. I'm even giving this formula. But 20 centimeters, oh wait a second, length is not 20 centimeters. Length is given as, let me delete this part. This is length and this is breadth. Length is given as 10 centimeters, 10, not even 10 centimeters. Wait a second. 10 plus or minus 1% centimeters. Breadth is 5 plus or minus 2% centimeters. Okay, so the area is nothing but 10 into 5, 50 plus or minus 3% centimeter square. 50 plus or minus 3% centimeter square. That is as simple as it is to find these kind of values. Okay, I hope you get this. Now, sometimes there are some cases they don't give the percentage errors, they directly give the errors. Like take the same example only, the length into breadth of this square rectangular plate only. They directly don't mention the percentage error, they directly mention the error like 10 plus or minus 0.1 centimeters. Breadth is 5 plus or minus 0.05 centimeters. Let's just say somebody gave like this. So now you have to convert this into percentage and this into percentage. I hope you really know how to convert percentages. 10 plus or minus, how much percentage is this? It's actually 1%. I know how to calculate it. B is also 1%, I guess. Yeah, it is also 1%. 5 plus or minus 1% centimeters. Now I have to find the area as 10 into 5, 50 plus or minus 2% centimeter square. If you didn't get it, please let me know. Okay, which is 10%? Oh, this is 10%. 10 0.1. No, 10 0.1 is 1% only. Somebody has a doubt here. Please, if you have a doubt, let me know. Sharath, your calculation is wrong. 0.1 is 1% of 10 only. Okay, guys. Sai Charan. Yeah, Sai Charan.
Sir, in the before problem, sir, before and the first problem you have done, sir,
This
LBH. Okay.
this one?
No, sir, before one, sir.
This one?
Down one, sir, down one, sir.
I don't get it. Which one?
Down one, sir, LBH one.
Yeah, this one, okay.
Sir, is it 5,000, sir?
10,
10, sir.
200 into 5, it's 1000, I guess, right?
Yes, sir. I was
Okay.
confusing from that time, sir.
Yeah, I tend to make this calculation mistake. It's fine. Okay.
Okay, sir, thanks.
So yeah, guys. So be careful. Sometimes they give the percentage errors like this. They like, yeah, I'll show you. Sometimes they might directly give the percentage errors only in the problem. Sometimes they directly give the percentage errors only. Sorry, the direct errors only. They don't give the percentage. The direct error has to be converted into, to use this formula directly adding the percentage error. You always have to have this percentage errors only. It has to be in terms of percentage error only. Do you understand? It has to be percentage errors only. You cannot randomly use any other value. You cannot randomly use any other thing. I hope you're understanding that bit. Okay, guys. So now, what if what if the calculation or the value, if it is in terms of volume, LBH, it's easy. If it is a volume of a sphere, it is 4/3 pi r cube. Since they are constants, we don't really care about it. Percentage volume equals to 3 into percentage radius. It's easy. If it is area, it's L into B. If it is something else, you can always simply write it. What if the equation is a little more complicated? Like, how do I write? Let's say like simple quantity x equal to a plus b. X equals to a plus b. There is percentage error in A, there is percentage error in B. How do you find the percentage error in X? We're not talking about A into B, we're simply talking about A plus B. Anyone has any statement against this? Nobody? This is a complete new topic to you people, right? I think you're not getting any ideas from this. So whenever you're writing direct additions, guys, directly find the errors itself. You have to directly add the errors, like not percentage errors. Error in A plus error in B you have to write, not the percentages. Let me give you an example here. Um, Capital L equals to, let us say, L1 plus L2, two lengths. First length is given as 5 centimeters plus some error. Second one is given as 10 centimeters plus some error. Plus or minus, let us say 2% here, 1% here. Okay. First of all, you cannot add percentages here. Since the operation between is a plus, you're not talking about L1 into L2. You're not using logarithms or anything. You directly need to convert this into normal error. Like 5 plus or minus 2% is how much? I think it is 0.1. So 5 plus or minus 0.1 is 0.1 centimeter. I'm converting 2% into direct value, and 10 centimeters, it is also 0.1. So 10 plus or minus 0.1. So the final reading will simply be 15 plus or minus 0.2 centimeters. Since this is a plus here, This is a plus here. I'm directly adding the errors. I'm not adding percentage errors. I hope you see the difference. Okay, you're multiplying. You're right. You're supposed to add percentage errors if you're multiplying a function like this. You're writing area equals to L into B. If you're multiplying, you have to add percentage errors. If you're adding, directly add errors itself. Like convert it into errors only and then add. That is one way to do it. That is one important question. Now for tomorrow, I'm going to give you a tricky question. What if the function is a little more complicated, like effective resistance in parallel? I hope you all have done this in school. Let us say 1 by R equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. We have done these kind of questions in the past. Let us say I gave you percentage R1 and then percentage R2. How do you find the percentage R? This is a tricky question. Let us see if you people can do it. That is like a homework question for you. Okay. The same thing, you cannot do the same thing. This is a inverted value. You're not directly adding R1 and R2. There's a difference. Like in this question, you can do. In this question, you directly add percentage errors, or not percentage errors, directly add errors. In this question, you directly add errors. There's no problem in that. But in this question, we have 1 by R1 and 1 by R2. You need to be careful when you do this question. Okay, guys. So you let me know cross multiply and all. Like you try to do a question and let me know. Okay, this is an interesting and important question for you people. Okay, try to do it and let me know. And sometimes, guys, sometimes an additional question I'm just giving you. They don't even mention. They don't even mention the errors. They simply say area equals to length into breadth. Length is 20 centimeters. Breadth is 10 centimeters. But this one is measured with vernier calipers and this one is measured with screw gauge. Here in these cases, we have to use the least count of the instrument as error. So we have to write 20 plus or minus 0.1 millimeters as error here. Here you have to write it as 0.01 millimeter as error. You just have to assume the least count as the error. Least count of the instrument as error. There are questions like we have done this thing, right? Time period equals to 2 pi root or L by G in that gravity topic. So they write G equals to 4 pi square L by T square. They say they are trying to find G value. And L is measured and time is measured. Time is measured with a clock. They got the time as 20 seconds and they measured a clock with least count as 1 second. They simply say this. So you have to imagine, yeah, the error is plus or minus 1 second. Just an additional tip that I'm giving you. Okay, this is just an additional point. Okay, whenever they say they don't mention the error, you look at the instrument that they used and put the least count as the error directly. But once you get into the problems, you'll clearly understand the depth of these problems. Okay, this is like a basic idea of these problems. You try to get into the depth of these problems, you'll get an understanding of it. Okay, guys. So yeah, I think that is enough for today. If you have, I mean, like I said, this is a very small session. If you have more questions on this, we can discuss. You bring on your doubts and we will talk about this as much as possible. Before I end the session, any doubts, anybody? Just for your knowledge, I'm just writing it here. Percentage G equals to percentage in L plus 2 into percentage T. It's basically minus. It's actually minus because it's in the denominator, but it doesn't matter if you're writing percentage errors. It doesn't matter whether it is minus or plus. Okay. So that is it, guys. If you have any doubts, please raise your hands. Otherwise, I'm going to end the session. Nothing? All right, guys, and thank you so much. We will talk about it tomorrow in the next session if you have more doubts. All right. Thank you so much and bye-bye.